Woo-wee, good morning. I would say a few people broke their promise about being here for Madalena, but True Crime Beat didn't. V. Oakley didn't. Our girl Heaven's Little Angels didn't. Rianne, my girl, didn't. Real Rockin' Robin said, I think Tennessee is the new Tornado Valley now. If so, you let me know, because we have Tornado Alley t-shirts at the Phillips 66 where I get my beer and vapes. They're 99 cents, all different sizes. I'll load you up. You give them to all your friends in Tennessee, because I've got no problem anyone taking that crown. Good morning, Retro Girl. What is up, Poppy Red Mustang? Minky. Woo! Joy K, where you been, girl? And you, baby. We have a very special guest here in chat, Alexandra from Romania. Can everyone take a minute and welcome Alexandra? Please. Everyone say hi to Alexandra, and I'm going to give you just a little sneak peek of what we're talking about today. We have a whole playlist in case you forgot. There's a lot to remember with all our real lives in the cases we talk about.
The Cornelius Police Department, the FBI, and the SBI are searching for 11-year-old Madalena Kojikari. The Cornelius Police Department, located in Cornelius, North Carolina, learned Madalena was missing on December 15th, 2022. Captain Jennifer Thompson explains.
Our school resource officer and the school counselor tried several times to contact Madalena's mother due to a high number of absences. After agreeing to bring Madalena to school, Diana Kojikari showed up alone, saying she didn't know where her daughter was and hadn't seen her since November 23rd.
Her mother, Diana, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, are both charged with failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. The investigation uncovered video of Madalena getting off the school bus on November the 21st. It's the last confirmed sighting of the sixth grader. Cornelius Police Captain Thompson.
Madalena is 4 feet, 10 inches tall and weighs 90 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. In a missing child investigation, every second counts. Unfortunately, in this case, it was more than 3 weeks before our department was notified she was missing. Despite being hampered by the timeline, we are doing everything possible to find her.
If you have information to help the investigators, call the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-7773 or 1-800-CALL-FBI.
That's a lot, my friends. That's a lot. Think of one case you know. And you guys, you follow true crime. Think of one where the FBI said, no, we're stepping in. Not only are we stepping in, we are bringing in a totally different list of agents that hang around the water cooler here at the FBI. They specialize in T3 trafficking. Google the shit out of it. It has to do with basically international espionage. Well, I tell you who can't sit with us today, and that is Diana Kojikari, because she is sitting pretty in Moldova. She got her a lot of money. A lot of money. Just me said I never have. I want to know, has anybody in all the true crime we have followed, and we hear people whine all the time, the FBI's going to take over, it's going to take over. Why doesn't the FBI take over? It's got to be something totally different for them to say, that's our case. Now, they will step in. They will step in. And we're going to get to all your questions. How did she get a lot of money? How did she get the money? Is she still in jail? We're going to get to it. But first, let's tell everyone good morning. Say hi to Mike. Whew, it's almost the holiday weekend. Also put in there what you plan to do this weekend.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
That's what I'm talking about. Baby Kisses said she's carving. Carving what? Camels? Who's got their pink on? Who's got their pink on? If Madalena was here, I would take her to Tulsa Hills and I would buy her all the pink she wanted with my husband's credit card. Everything she wanted. Cypher Owl, girl, where you been? I've been missing you. What is up? Peanut Shell is in Tucson, Arizona. Well, I'll tell you what. While you guys are thinking about it, when have you ever heard the FBI putting out something like they did for Madalena? Very sad that other creators don't pick up on this. They don't quite understand the gravity of this case. Let's take a moment and tell everyone good morning and remind everyone we're always going to do the right thing around here. Good morning. And without further ado, bringing up one of my very BFFs. You know, we say BFF, best friend forever, but this one gets the V. Very best friend forever. You guys sit back and you take a moment, absorb it, because she's going to be spending a lot of time with us, because I mean she's going to, because she's getting ready to have some time on her hands. Our V BFF, Cat OG. What up, girlfriend?
Hey, hi everyone. Hi Brooks. Good morning. Good morning, chat. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Are we surprised that not a lot of people came in for Madalena? Not that I'm discounting 83 people.
Not really. I guess like the groups are quite populated with more with people from overseas rather than in the States anymore. I don't know, when it first came out everyone was really quite interested in it, but Madalena's still missing. There's still no word on where she actually is all of this time later. And her mum's just up and left the country now and is back in her home country, living the life of Riley by all accounts and purposes. It's insane.
Let's talk about that. First, we already have some questions from the chat, and you are the expert. I'm telling you what, you took this by the horns, and I was like, I'm standing back. I really am. Bama wants to know where Diana Kojikari could have gotten all this money.
Well, however she was earning money, I think she was selling Avon or some kind of thing in the United States. I don't actually know whether that's true or not. Mary Jane or something.
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, yeah. Sorry. So I think she had that. But I mean, obviously, she was bought and paid for by Christopher Parmenter, who brought her over, paid for her, like a mail order bride situation from Moldova. So she already came over and was, living the life of Riley, really. And any money she got, she sent right back to Moldova, to her mother, I presume, and extended family. And also, at the time when Madalena disappeared, there was a lot of talk about a lot of money that Diana had. It was in her car when the police saw her in her car in the mountains in North Carolina. She had a whole lot of money in her car then. When she was in jail, because she pled guilty, but she failed to report Madalena as missing. She was in jail. There was phone calls made talking about bags of money. She obviously had a lot of money, and I wouldn't mind betting that some of that money was procured, in my opinion, by the sale of her daughter. That's the only thing to me that really makes sense.
It could, and let me tell you what, Christopher Palmetier, I mean, he's no scab, he's no scrub. He made a lot of money as an engineer, and he wanted her happy. So he's like, she had access to funds,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so
He was a
if they
pauper.
and when the case first came about, I thought he's a weird looking dude. And I
Yeah, I
thought,
mean, and you can't judge by appearances, but yeah, I pretty much felt the same.
I just thought, please tell me that he didn't bring them over and he's done something to Madalena. Well, he didn't. Matter of fact, he never did anything to Diana
Mm-hmm.
in the husband-wife way or any way.
Mm-hmm. Which makes it even more sick because she had this whole ongoing paranoia that they were out to get her, whoever they were, and that she needed protection from this whoever was coming to get her. And made the whole big thing about it to his family, that she was in danger, that she wanted to get Madalena out of the country, etc., etc. Before it all came out and Madalena did actually disappear. All of this was but some big thing. She was burning all his furniture in their garden. Everything he owned, she burnt in a fire pit in his garden while she's casting her spells and waving her magic wand around the house, whatever she was doing with that whole thing. Like, I actually ended up feeling really quite sorry for Christopher Parmenter,
Oh,
because
I
I
feel
don't actually
horrible
think he
for
knew what he was getting when he bought her. Like,
him.
seriously.
I feel horrible for him because he had to learn Romanian.
Hmm.
He would travel over to meet her. And the thing is, she was just kind of like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Like, I don't need the champagne and strawberries. Sure thing. But
Uh-huh.
he wanted to get to know where she was from, her parents, her culture. He learned the language, and he didn't have to.
Oh, he really didn't have to. And enough men, well, I say enough, I don't know how many, but men buy wives from usually poorer countries like the Philippines or wherever, and they don't spend all their time trying to learn the language and ingratiate themselves with the family and all of that. I think he actually did extra when it came to that kind of thing, because I do think that he actually, I mean, I don't know how their marriage obviously didn't really work out very well, but I do think that he actually wanted companionship. He wanted someone, he wanted a wife, really.
Oh, I
Not
think
that
so
we
too.
got,
And
but
I think his older sisters were after his ass all the time, going, "Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
You're an engineer. You're not getting any younger. You need to
Mhm.
meet someone. You need to get married."
Yeah.
And he's
And
just kind of like, he's very socially awkward, and he
Mhm.
thought, well, okay, I'll do this.
And also he had a ready-made family in that respect then, because he also had a child in terms of Madalena, who was already born when Diana was paid for and shipped over to America by him. Madalena went with her. So he
Yeah,
had a ready-made family at that point.
absolutely, absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Okay, I have lost something here. What am I doing? Hold on. Give me a second. I promise I do know what I'm doing some days. Okay. All right, again, because we hear it in every case, and I want to say thank you again to Crime Time Connie. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Will Brooks needed that for the channel. Thank you very much. Now, has anyone ever seen the FBI get so involved in a missing persons case?
I mean, I've never, and also I obviously don't know too much about the FBI, being that I'm not from America, but I know that when the first missing poster came out, it was talking about contact your local embassy if you've heard or like seen anything of Madalena. Then it said another news article came out that said that they'd interviewed people overseas, like 54 different people that lived overseas, and I was like, the FBI at doing interviews with people that live overseas. Like, what?
Yeah.
That was crazy to me, but it makes sense if you think about the logistics of where they're from and all of that kind of thing. It was just really shocking to me that the FBI were actually conducting interviews with people that lived overseas.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people ask, is she still in jail, Diana? No, she was released. She actually went back to the house that Christopher bought for her and Madalena.
Mm-hmm.
They are divorced now. Now, she surrendered her passport
Mm-hmm.
to the authorities in North Carolina.
Yeah.
One thing they do not have the ability to do is to make sure she can't get another passport.
Mhm.
Now, in my opinion, I think between when Madalena got off the school bus, of course, Christopher was out of town. He went to Michigan for Thanksgiving. I think she had a good idea how all this was going to go down. When she met whoever on Sugar Mountain in North Carolina, that could have possibly have been the handoff, whether money or Madalena or both. I don't know. She could have easily, after that, while he's gone or not paying attention at work, fiddling around with his wood crafting in the garage, she could have easily have gone to the embassy and gotten papers, gotten a passport. Another theory
hang on though, Brooks, because when they looked in her car after they knew that Madalena was missing, they found her passport in her car. They found Madalena's passport and Diana's passport and travel documents in her car already. So they knew that she obviously had travel plans, and there were travel plans afoot, because at that point she had her passport there ready in the car. Like, it's insane the amount of thought that she must have put into this ahead of time. She didn't plan on going to jail in the meantime, but she was planning to get out of the country already.
Oh, she was, for sure. No, I'm talking second set. Okay. Like I can seriously go to the DMV in Glenpool, Oklahoma, Department of Motor Vehicles, and say, hey, I lost my driver's license. Okay. What's your name? Date of birth? Do you have anything to prove who you are? Yeah, here you go. Here's my social security card. Here's, a recent bill. And they're like, okay, there you go. Here's a temporary.
She wouldn't have known at that point that she was going to end up in jail.
Not unless there's a plan.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, just my own opinion is, I feel like after she got out of jail was when she went to the embassy, because she didn't have her passport anymore because the police had it by that point and they hadn't given it back to her. But also, if she planned to get out of the country before she went to jail, she could have done that with the passport that she already had.
Well, she surrendered that passport they made her when she was in jail. They probably took it when they went to arrest her. Or she could honestly, instead of having a second passport like some people do, we have, learned about that, in, the last few years. Then she could have went to the embassy afterward. I mean, when she got out of jail. And Christopher
went on a second document or a second passport for sure.
And Christopher could have helped her. He could have been like, yeah, I'm done with this bullshit. I'll take her and I'll vouch for her. All right,
he was in jail still, wasn't he? Because she pled guilty and got out, and he was waiting trial. She went home just after he got out of jail, which was when she actually disappeared out the country, because he wouldn't let her in the motel room.
Hence why she was sitting outside sunning her damn self. Just acting like, okay, I'm just gonna. I mean, at one point she had her feet in the water and everything. Really
Life of Riley. And all her stuff outside the house, which was quite hilarious.
The truth is, the last administration should have flagged her passport. The State Department should have flagged it so she couldn't leave. North Carolina can't do it, but the State Department can. But I think we all know that there's been some issues with some, people not taking notes. Okay, Sarah, there was no private jet. She flew commercial. She had a passport. We'll get to it here.
She took photos of herself on the flight home.
Yeah, she took pictures of herself. Yeah, Richard Branson didn't show up in the Virgin Records jet and pick her up.
No, I think it was like the equivalent of like Ryanair, but in America. So like just some cheap commercial flight, the cheapest one probably.
Yeah, it'd be like me going to San Antonio on Frontier. Okay. It's not as Jason Bourne as you want to make it. She got the hell out of Dodge. Okay.
The Cornelius Police Department, the FBI, and the SBI are searching for 11-year-old Madalena Kojikari. The Cornelius Police Department, located in Cornelius, North Carolina, learned Madalena was missing on December 15th, 2022. Captain Jennifer Thompson explains.
Our school resource officer and the school counselor tried several times to contact Madalena's mother due to a high number of absences. After agreeing to bring Madalena to school, Diana Kojikari showed up alone, saying she didn't know where her daughter was and hadn't seen her since November 23rd.
Her mother, Diana, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, are both charged with failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. The investigation uncovered video of Madalena getting off the school bus on November the 21st. It's the last confirmed sighting of the sixth grader. Cornelius Police Captain Thompson.
Madalena is 4 feet, 10 inches tall and weighs 90 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. In a missing child investigation, every second counts. Unfortunately, in this case, it was more than 3 weeks before our department was notified she was missing. Despite being hampered by the timeline, we are doing everything possible to find her.
If you have information to help the investigators, call the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-7773 or 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Yeah, you need to blast that into a different part of the world. Love Stall Lurk said Diana got a new copy of her passport at the embassy after her lawyer requested the police give hers back and it was declined. So, and that actually was printed in the Queen City News. And as far as her biological father, I don't think he's in the picture. As far as Christopher Palmatier, I don't know where his brain was. He went to Thanksgiving in Michigan. He came home and he's like, "Where's Madalena?" Diana,
that whole conversation was so bizarre.
It's like the two of them were looking for the remote. We've talked about this. And she goes, "I don't know. Where's Madalena? Did you have Madalena?" He couldn't have Madalena. She got off the bus and went to her room and he left the next morning. How could she not know where her daughter is? Well, we know because there was some kind of handoff at Sugar Mountain. They have run dogs, drones, helicopters. They have searched and searched and searched.
Mm-hmm.
But she is not in this country.
Madalena? Do you mean?
Yeah, I said she.
Yeah.
Madalena, or
Right.
we know Diana's not here. I don't think Madalena's been
agree.
here.
I don't think Madalena's in the country. I've never thought, it's never really actually been my theory at all with this case. Not that I'm law enforcement or anything, but I never actually thought that they or she ended Madalena's life. I feel like she was trafficked and possibly even for cultural reasons, which I think might speak about a bit later, but I feel like she was trafficked out of the country at that point when she was taken to Sugar Mountain and handed off to somebody, whoever that might have been, and they paid Diana a lot of money to take Madalena off their hands for whatever nefarious or other reason. And Diana returns home, and this whole charade about, have you seen Madalena? Have you seen Madalena? All of that has taken place. In the meantime, Diana's burning all the photos of Madalena, all of Madalena's clothes, all of her belongings, all of the couch and everything else in the garden for the next 2 weeks. I don't get what Christopher Palmer was thinking, that Diana told him, "Oh, Madalena's just in her room. She'll be out when she's hungry," kind of thing. And Chris Palmer just cracks on with doing whatever he's doing, building a new room for her family to come over and live with them.
He's not the sharpest tool in the box.
Right.
He explained in trial, how their life works. It actually made perfect sense to me. It was kind of like, don't ever worry about Madalena. I will take care of Madalena. And that's how she would say things. And Diana has been a busy girl. I look at her Facebook from time to time. Let's see here. Okay. Love Struck said Bio Dad has been interviewed and he's taking steps to open an investigation in Moldova. That is a great idea. The problem is he's been trying for years and they won't touch it. I don't know why they won't. But Diana has been a real busy girl. She's been in Hungary, she's been in Romania, and she's been in Bulgaria. Oh, yeah, look at that. Love Lurk said Diana's in Bulgaria this week. Hi, Diana. Can everyone say hi to Diana? Everyone.
Yeah, hi, Diana. The next time I want to see you isn't silver bracelets. How about that?
So
and you
now,
know what? I know this is probably jumping ahead as well, but you know, the ultimate upshot of this all is that if by any chance, which I don't think is ever going to happen, if Madalena is found in the USA in any condition that she may be in, Diana is never, ever, ever going to have to face justice in the USA. She's never going to have to face the justice system because Moldova has zero extradition treaty with the United States. So if they ever want to prosecute Diana, all she has to do is sit her ass in Moldova and she will be just sat there for the rest of her life. She will never be forced to go back to the USA and face justice. And that does my head in more than absolutely anything because she knew she could escape it if she flew to Moldova.
damn right. She damn sure knew, and she knew they wouldn't care. And she knew that she could go to another country and hang out. And she's got a way to talk to people. She uses that WhatsApp thing, and they realized that she was doing a lot of things through the WhatsApp. Let's talk about this before we get to it. Let me put it up. Okay. Through phone records, it was discovered that on December 8th, 2022, that's how long we've been taking care of this case. At approximately 9:38 a.m., Diana received a WhatsApp text message from, well, a number that doesn't work anymore because trust me, I've called it. The text asked her to join chat WhatsApp. A basic phone record search of the phone number located in the name of G blank from the St. Cloud, Florida area. Now, this is her cousin Octavian. Okay, they called him Octavian. He came here on a work visa, and then it became a student visa because he was going to school. All right, he's not in the country anymore. You're not going to find him in Florida. There is no way him and True Crime Beat are going to hook up and get married and have a bunch of Moldovan babies. It's not going to happen. He's gone. Okay. During my investigation, I have learned that Diana has an associate that lives in the St. Cloud area. The associate, that's Octavian again, was called by Diana to ask for assistance in helping Diana and her daughter leave North Carolina. Through social media posts, it was discovered that was a friend of Octavian. During the course of failure to report investigation, Diana used the WhatsApp phone application to communicate with various family members and their associates. I believe the text conversation that Diana was asked to join from phone number may assist in finding the missing child. Okay.
Yeah, what do you want to bet that phone number's not in existence anymore?
I called it like 5 times yesterday. You don't need to hold anybody there. All right, so let's get to know Moldova a little bit, okay? And I don't want people in the group coming after me, Serbian Empire, any of that, yelling at me, saying people in Moldova don't live this way. I'm not talking about your country. I'm talking about Dirty Diana, stupid ass Chris, and selling Madalena. And Kat's going to have to help me with this real quick.
And that the land sandwiched between great empires can survive centuries of warfare and still come out independent, especially one whose people speaks the same language as its larger neighbour. And yet Moldova is one of those lands, and here it is today, a sovereign nation. But why? Why does Moldova exist? So to begin, Moldova, or Moldavia as it's been known through most of its history, is an old Romanian-speaking nation whose origins are in the 14th century after it told the Hungarians that it wasn't interested in being their vassal anymore.
Why
was Diana in Hungary last month?
Probably because it's another country that they associate with, I guess. Romania, Hungary. Well, and maybe not Hungary, they're a little bit separate from them. But I mean, all these countries are within a radius of each other. It would be a bit like you going to Kentucky, for example.
Oh, that'd take me a long time. That'd be like me going to, I guess, Kansas. Rianne,
Kansas,
my
yeah.
girl, said my sister-in-law is Serbian. I'll leave it there. We had a problem with a Serbian a couple of years ago.
And I sent you some maps yesterday, did I not?
Oh,
I
yeah,
did
you
my
did.
best
I'm sorry.
English YouTuber thing and looked on Google Maps. And Serbia and Moldova are like about as far apart as England and bloody Germany or something. They're like not even anywhere near each other. They're completely different countries.
Man, those Serbians got mad at me. And I don't want to mess with that dude because, he's got that YouTube channel and I need to promote it more where he's talking about German flashlights. He's a pretty cool dude. He came after me and said, I can't talk about Moldova because he's Serbian Empire and America is 200-year-old baby. And I'm like, hold on. And I think he got mad because I called him Borat, but that's all right.
It spent the next century fighting off the Kingdom of Hungary, Wallachia, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth with varying levels of success before the Ottomans turned up and made it into a vassal in the early 16th century. Now, given Moldova's position on the borders of the Ottoman Empire, it should be no surprise that it was a place which saw war fairly often, and much of that war was with the recently expanded Russian Empire. And these two went to war a lot. And in 1812, half of Moldavia, lands collectively known as Bessarabia, were annexed into the Russian Empire. In 1859, as a result of losing the Crimean War, the Russians handed over this territory to what was left of Moldavia, which promptly formed the United Provinces with Wallachia, which would soon afterwards take the name Romania. Due to some conflicts over access to the Danube, Russia ended up getting these lands back a mere 20 years later. Time marched on, and World War I. As you'll know, Romania joined the Entente, got squashed, and then rejoined when the Central Powers were on the back foot. When the war was over and the Russian Empire had collapsed because Lenin, Romania jumped on the opportunity and with the support of Bessarabia's politicians annexed the region before it expanded to this after the Treaty of Trianon. So into the 20th century, Moldova was a part of Romania, and the people who lived there were perfectly happy with this arrangement. Someone who wasn't happy with the arrangement was Joseph Stalin, who wanted Bessarabia back under the control of Moscow. In 1939, the USSR and Germany signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which secretly divided Eastern Europe up between them and acknowledged Soviet ownership of Bessarabia. The next year, Stalin gave Romania an ultimatum: give us Bessarabia or we'll just take it anyway. Romania...
The fuck is all that?
Not like Russia doesn't have a little bit of history with annexing other countries around its territory, Just saying.
Oh, man. Small, little, hairy people that cause a lot of havoc. God damn. Seriously. Retro said I haven't even finished my coffee yet. Yikes. I'm telling you. Yeah. And that's where Diana wanted to go back. All right. Again, remember, her skimming off the top. Okay. Let's not forget her husband, Christopher Palmatier. He's making a good 200 grand. Okay. As an engineer, he can't spend all that. He's not that type of dude. He's, make sure Madalena has new clothes. Make sure Madalena has a new bed. Make sure Madalena has the toys she wants. Make sure Madalena goes to horse riding lessons. Make sure Madalena is getting, piano lessons, whatever she wants. Make sure, whatever you all want from the grocery store. I'll be home at 6. And now she's in Moldova with this.
Mm-hmm. This is what those American dollars paid for, by the way. Not that she earned 300,000 US dollars. The fact that 30,000 US dollars can build you and buy you land and a house like this in Moldova, because that's the currency exchange. So for the sake of a lovely house like that, she sold her daughter, in my opinion, and skimmed all the money she could off of Christopher Palmatier while she was in America and sent all of this money back. And $30,000 is a lot. It sounds like a lot of money, but when you compare it to how much that house would cost if you built it in the United States, it's peanuts, really.
Oh yeah, our lumber prices are crazy. And also, look at where she lived before. Now, I don't mean in North Carolina. I mean, when she was in Moldova before. That place looked like a rat trap.
Makes Don and Candace's house look like a palace.
I mean, I'm looking around, the bedroom I'm in right now, which OJ and I call the studio. Okay, Where she lived before was basically a toilet in the corner, something that you plug in that you can cook your food on, okay? And everyone's just stacked up in there.
Yeah.
It's not sanitary. There's no room to walk around. And now suddenly she's got this. And her mom is part of it. You cannot tell me that crazy bitch isn't part of it. She sold her daughter. She is basically the Kris Kardashian of Moldova. Okay? Like Kris Kardashian got her daughter, which I'm sure it wasn't hard to, twist her arm to do that sex video with Ray J. And next thing you know, it just winds up on the internet, and then boom, we have the Kardashians. They are the Kardashians of Moldova, and they are living large, my friends.
Romania acquiesced and the USSR annexed the region. During the course of World War II, Romania briefly occupied the region again, but that wouldn't last. These lands were transferred with Ukraine, and the rest became the Moldavian Soviet Socialist Republic. Over its lifetime in the USSR, the government was keen to stress that the Moldavian and Romanian peoples were different. It implemented linguistic reforms, which meant that the Moldavian language would use the Cyrillic alphabet, as opposed to the Latin one which Romania had adopted in the previous century. Throughout its time in the USSR, Moldova was a sore spot in relations between Moscow and Bucharest, and Romania's politicians made it clear that they still believed it to be a rightful part of Romania. Like all other things Soviet, the Moldavian SSR began dying in the late 1980s. This was when Gorbachev opened up the press and allowed the Soviet republics to discuss their futures in the hopes that these new freedoms would maintain the USSR, but fun fact, no. Moldavian independence movement sprang up quickly, and representatives there reversed the adoption of the Cyrillic alphabet, and they soon afterwards declared the Moldavian...
I know nothing about that alphabet. No idea. Miss North's musing said they have a huge trafficking problem for decades now. Based on what was asked of her to learn here, she could have been grooming her for a high-profile person or marriage.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm worried. That's what I'm saying. You've said it. Girl, you've been saying it for years. Go ahead. You take the stage.
Well, quite apart from the fact of what you just said, which was that Diana's mother would have been the only one that profited from Diana getting married to Christopher Parmiter, because any money that he paid for her to be a mail order bride in that respect was paid to her mother, who then has the money for selling Diana to Christopher Parmiter. And then 11 years later, or 10 years later, Diana then, in my opinion, sells her own daughter, and so the cycle continues. Arranged marriage is a huge, well, I know it is in Roma communities, a huge thing, and a lot of girls, especially, are expected to leave school at the age of 11. Now, how old was Madalena when she got off of that school bus? She was 11.
She was 11.
And that was the last day that she was seen. In my opinion, that's really significant in terms of the cultural norms and the cultural expectations of the community from which they came from originally, especially in that part of Moldova. You look at the house that they've now been able to build with the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. If you want to find Madalena, you're going to have to follow the money, in my opinion. And yes, I do think it was grooming her for what Miss North Musen said, high-profile personal marriage. I absolutely believe that, and I think I have believed that ever since day one.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. I have to listen to you more, especially when it comes to things over there. And I don't like to cover things from other countries because I don't know the cultures, don't know what to eat, I don't know the landscape. I didn't pay that much attention in world history. No fucking idea. So I do know early on that there was a lot of money being sent Western Union. Now, I can tell you right now, I have never used Western Union.
I haven't either. I don't even think I'd have to ever use it, but
no,
for sending money like internationally.
Yeah, I've never, ever, ever used it. Uh-oh, here we go. Somebody needs to grab the link and come up. Love Lurk said, don't forget, Martin, you'll come buying in the search warrants. He was high profile, wealthy, etc. Now, this guy needs to be a separate show. Because if you look at him, he's almost like a George Soros. Okay.
Oh, really?
In which
country?
Hang on. I can tell you right now where he's
Thank
from.
you. I haven't actually heard of him.
Oh, it was in the one of the warrants, which I think
Okay.
is the okay, let's see. Okay, that's the dad that died. Let's see. He's from Czechoslovakia.
Okay, which is in the region. It's not the same country. It's a separate country, obviously, but it is within the region of Eastern Europe, if you like.
Okay.
So it's quite. That's not a name that I don't know him, but now I know where he hails from, it kind of not massively surprising or shocking to me if that is a possibility.
Well, the dad is deceased. Okay, the dad is deceased, but the younger son lives in Czechoslovakia.
Lives in where? Where?
His son, okay, Martin is deceased, the elder,
Okay.
but the younger of the family,
hmm
which would be basically about my damn age, lives in Czechoslovakia.
Right. So
And
how is he in what search warrants?
I'll send them to you.
Okay.
Let's see. Lovelurk said he lived in California, then North Carolina. Marty and Martin are both deceased from suicide.
Oh God.
God damn. All right, we'll have to look. That's a totally separate show.
Okay,
Fuck.
yeah, no worries. I'll have to look into
No,
that.
I feel like I'm in that movie, The Bourne Identity.
And Romanian people to be one and the same. You should know, though, that there were many there who wished to remain a part of the USSR. And
Let me ask you this real quick, Lovelurk. Were there unalivings? Were they kind of like some others that happen when the FBI gets involved? Were they like cars that blew up? Or somebody came home from the movies and next thing you know, they had some lead in the back of their head? Because I could see our FBI playing Boy Scout like that. Not that I'm going to worry about those two, because they did a lot of nasty stuff.
when independence seemed inevitable, they themselves declared independence. They created the state of Transnistria, which still exists to this day but isn't recognized by many nations. So why didn't Moldavia, which soon took the name Moldova, join Romania? Well, part of it was timing. Romania was having its own troubles with anti-communist revolution. When the dust from that was settled, Gorbachev pressured the new president to respect the USSR's borders, which he did. And after that, much of the potential momentum was gone. Because despite the declaration of Moldavian unity with Romania, many people, especially in the south, were Ukrainian or Russian, and for them the idea of joining Romania wasn't so enchanting. And so in the end, they didn't. After which Moldova would remain an independent nation. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and a special thanks to all my patrons.
Oh, hell yeah, I enjoyed the shit of it.
Fascinating.
Lurk, yeah, send that coroner report to Kat. Por favor. Because the old man died of old age, but the younger one that Diana was in contact with, he died of unaliving.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. If you just email it to Brooks can forward it on to my email. That's okay.
We actually have a new email address, everyone. It is customerservicecll@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous, and it will be forwarded to either Kat or Pat, and you just let them know how you feel about the show. All right, so let's
please do that, and just better know yourself if you're coming at me with stupid stuff. Sorry.
Please do.
Because you might get told.
Please do. My mind is freaking blown with the way that Diana and her mother orchestrated all of this. I mean, you have to admit.
I know that her mum was involved, because her mum was straight out as soon as Diana got out of jail. Was it when she was in jail or before she went to jail? And her mum came over and was like, they've been harassing my family. She's innocent. La, la, la. I need the money. When Diana's mother came over.
Oh, yeah, she was flat out pissed. Let's look at it. because she showed up in court.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The craziest thing is the FBI actually allowed.
Mm-hmm.
They got Grandma Moldova. They got her the plane ticket. They
Mm-hmm.
brought her over. They put her in a hotel for her to be there and talk to Diana. And she didn't really want to talk to him too much, but she did talk to the news. And how in North Carolina they found someone to interpret, I'm like, hell no, this is crazy. We're going to go through this probably a couple of times.
Kochikari appeared in court today. And here are the two big developments. The missing girl's mother, Diana Kochikari, and stepfather, Christopher Palmater, both entered a not guilty plea. The judge also lowered Palmater's bond to $25,000. Well, thanks for staying with us at 5. I'm Alicia Barnes. Family members for both parents also in the courtroom today. Queen City News anchor Robin Kennedy live outside the courthouse. Robin, you spoke with Madalena's grandmother. So what did she have to say?
I will let Kat handle this comment. I thought Moldova was a Hallmark town.
When you say a Hallmark town, do you mean like in the Christmas Hallmark
Yes,
movie?
the Christmas, yeah, the Christmas movies. Yes.
I mean, parts of it might be. I guess there's some parts of it where they might like film those kind of movies, but I mean, I guess like the
Oh, I tell
tourist
you what,
areas.
they're moving on up like the Jeffersons. They are. I mean, because they got some money now.
Mhm.
Miss North's Musings wants to know if there's any gang connections in Moldova.
Oh, I mean, there's gang connections everywhere, but if it is, it's going to be Russian mafia, I should imagine. I don't know that for a fact, but it's very it's kind of on the precipice where, like they said in that video we just watched a minute ago, some people even wish that they were still part of Russia. So I can imagine that the mafia have a fairly free reign. I also think there's probably, well, in fact, there definitely is a Roma gypsy population there, not to insult any nation, culture, etc. But that's a whole different subset of culture right there. There's a lot of dynamics and going on in Moldova, I guess. So there's a lot that could go under the radar, especially when it comes to children, in my opinion, in Moldova for sure.
Now, Diana's mother and father, it is known that they are into what is considered the Romanian and Moldovan gypsy culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I think of gypsies around here, I think about people like Outlaw Trucker that go to like different like carnivals and stuff.
These are the more traditional, how you would think of Roma gypsies. That, I mean, I think they originated in India originally, but moved to Eastern Europe, kind of thing, and they have their own communities, their own their own religion, I suppose. Although it's rooted in Christianity, it's a very kind of high Catholic kind of style of religion. They have their own rules, their own laws, their own. They usually, remember, do you know the covered gypsy wagons with the bright colours and the horses that draw them, and that kind of culture where they move around, very traditional, very religious kind of thing, but with a lot of emphasis on family and living together as a community and all of that kind of stuff. It's really different to what anything I could imagine anyway.
Now, I did get an email after the video I did back in January about Madalena with the unsealed warrants that were out. I'll find the email and I'll send it to customer service. The woman that comes in, her name is I'm Not Buying It. And she's
my favorite.
Well, she was trying to buy orphanages in Romania to take the children and put them in France or England. And the Romanian government told her no, that pounds are not welcome there.
She's crazy. There has been used to be anyway, a movement of adopting Romanian orphans, but it was back in the 80s. And it was when you used to see the pictures of them on the news, and there'd be like these overpopulated orphanages with children like rocking in their cots and stuff, like 3 or 4 children in a cot.
Yeah,
But
she
that was
mentioned
when they had a 5-child policy at the time, and so it was, you know, more kind of visible then, I guess.
Mhm.
But she ain't purchasing no orphanages and sending no orphans over here. No, she's probably in Spain right now, I should think. Honestly.
Well, all I did was mention about this 2020 special I saw when Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs were on, and they had all these people showing these orphanages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Diana is actually offering sessions for $300 to study the violet flame of people. That's her source of income right now. No lie.
Oh yeah, she's crazy. That Romani or Roma population are also the fortune-telling gypsies, like you imagine, with the crystal balls and that kind of thing. Like that's from their culture.
Well,
So,
she got pissed the hell off when they cut off her Cash App, and they wouldn't let people in Moldova have Cash App anymore because I mean, there was too much money going out of the country. And listen, if you can't just give somebody a birthday card with a $10 bill in it, you're doing something bad.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now wait till you check out Grandma, because I mean, she is the maestro of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia, Madalena Kojikari's grandmother made some pretty explosive comments today. She says she strongly believes her granddaughter was kidnapped and sold to human traffickers.
She's fucking right, according to the FBI.
I don't think she was kidnapped. I think she was sold to traffickers by her own mother. That's my opinion. I don't think she was kidnapped at all.
The thing is, Christopher Palmatier couldn't do it. He can't even organize a damn garage sale. You think he knows how to do that?
No.
But she's adamant. Now, why, when Grandma got here, would she not speak with the FBI? But she enjoyed the mini bar. She enjoyed the ice machine. She enjoyed the hot tub. She enjoyed the continental breakfast. She would enjoy all that. She enjoyed the flight, and they got her right the hell out of there. But and she did get whatever she was looking for. She did get that. But for her to say, "Oh, I know she was sold, trafficked," but they can't blame him. He is what you would call a patsy, Christopher Palmatier.
Yeah, I agree. He's the fool guy in some respects. I don't think he was aware that he was the fool guy until he ended up in jail for failing to report her missing and then got found guilty, even though he pled not guilty. I don't actually even think then he realized that he was the patsy.
No. Actually, he just kind of looked like he'd been hit by a Mack truck.
Yeah.
Strongly believes her granddaughter was kidnapped and sold to human traffickers.
And is it your intention to plead not guilty and proceed to trial?
Yes.
Diana Kojikari pleads not guilty to a felony charge of not reporting her daughter, Madalena Kojikari, missing. Diana is still in jail on a $250,000 bond, but her husband, Christopher Palmatier, who has the same charge, could get out. A judge reduced his bond Thursday to $25,000. Their daughter was last seen last November getting off her school bus.
Not their daughter.
She's been missing now for almost 9 months. Cornelius police said early on neither of her parents had been cooperative in helping with the investigation. Rodica Kojikari, Diana's mother and Madalena's grandmother, was in court Thursday and spoke with Queen City News outside the courthouse.
Okay. As far as Christopher, and it sounds like I'm being like a real champion for him, he can't say much because he doesn't know.
Right. In that respect, he was kind of an innocent, not an innocent victim, I wouldn't say that, but he was kind of set up to not know anything. He had plausible deniability in that respect, I guess.
Well, she got what she was looking for, and that is for sure. Now, Chris's sister that still lives in Michigan, I mean, because Rodica was allowed in the house, okay,
Oh,
to get
yeah.
Madalena's things. Well, she also got some of Chris's things. Rings, watches, a very expensive bracelet, some jewelry that he had given to Diana, you know, Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary, that type of stuff. And if you notice how Diana stepped her game up when Christopher came back from Michigan, and I can only imagine all the stories she had as to where Madalena could be. And they were suddenly out shopping, and he said on the stand, it was like a whole new world. Like she was like loving to him and encouraging him to spend money and, you know, wanting to drink wine with him and not doing all that sitting around and meditating and praying and lighting shit on fire anymore. So how much would that jewelry that the grandmother grabbed and took to Moldova, how much would it be worth?
I mean, however much it's worth, it's going to have paid her absolutely bucket loads. Absolutely bucket loads. I mean, compared to what she could get if she didn't have that, like it's all relative. Like, I mean, it's totally crazy that she was allowed in that house to take whatever she wanted out of that house. Blatantly burglary.
I think it was bait and hook. Let's see what she does. Let's see what she does, and where she goes in Moldova, we might find Madalena. And if I thought for a second Christopher actually had any knowledge, I would be just toasting the shit out of him right now.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't have given it a second chance. If I originally did think, oh my God, this is so sketchy. You like buy a woman to come over from another country and she has a little child with her. That can't mean anything good. But as it's gone on, I think I've just realised that actually I don't even know what planet he lives on. I don't think it's the same planet, but I don't actually personally feel like he was any danger or threat to Madalena or Diana at any point, honestly. Just
He's the one that did most things with Madalena. While Diana was just, you know, doing her scheming and her WhatsApp shit. I mean, he was giving Diana, I mean, open access to the checking account. And let's not forget, in their divorce, she obviously got the American way. She got it down because she got half of his retirement.
Right.
Cash. Right. 401k.
And that goes back to the question, where did she get the money from? I think it's starting to come to light more than ever exactly where she got the money from.
And once she took it to Moldova, she didn't have to pay penalties, American, you know, tax penalties on it. Like, let's just say Greg went to cash out his 401k right now. We would take a huge hit. You don't do it in Moldova. It doesn't work that way. So she's got cold hard cash.
You can buy 3 times as many things in Moldova with that amount of money as well, because it's a poorer country, so everything costs less. So if you've got $30,000 in your purse and you go to Moldova, you can buy a house like that you showed earlier, because their houses are cheap there. Like they're basically so cheap, or they pay their family members or in kind to build the house and live there. You know, it's very much like they live off the land. So any money you have makes you very wealthy. In Romania or Moldova, Diana's rich compared to what she was in America. Because she has American dollars, that makes you rich.
Oh, and she's flinging it around too. When she was in America, she's just considered average. Nice house, nice car, nice school system. You got a park in your neighborhood. You know, you got a lake around you. Average, okay? I mean, middle class. That's, you know, that's what you are, you know? Yeah. Much like how, you know, I live. You know, and Greg lives. Now, OJ, I would say he's rich, but that's a different story.
But you go back to Moldova and look where she came from. Like you were saying earlier, she came from like a rat trap in Moldova. to America, where she evidently got her hands one way or another on a lot of money, took it back to Moldova, and she could have probably bought her rat trap house now about 50 times over, or built a brand new property, a massive, great big house for her and all of her family to live in, and which is evidently what she did with the money. Makes you almost royalty to have that much money in Moldova.
I know. Seal has a question. My question is this: why weren't they having Thanksgiving with his family that day? Most of America was celebrating that day. Yeah, on Thanksgiving, for sure, everybody was. They weren't. His family did. Diana didn't want to be part of the celebrations because they weren't used to the culture.
I mean, considering the fact that she'd actually been in America for like 10 years by that point or something. But she wasn't used to the culture. I'm not being funny, but if after however long you've been in America for that long, you still can't do Thanksgiving. I mean, come on. It says something, doesn't it? Does it not? Especially since his family actually, from what I could make out, actually doted on Madalena and really actually loved Madalena.
They really wanted to be close with Diana and Madalena. Okay, so she did, Grandma did take what's called a Tag Heuer watch.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so a cheap one around here at J. David is $1,800. So let's say the cheapest one, and that's US dollars. The cheapest one, let's say Chris just had the cheapest shit you can get, and I could see him doing that. I can see him with a Velcro wallet and Velcro tennis shoes. The cheapest watch, how much would that go for in Moldova?
Well, I mean, it probably would go for the same amount in that it would in America, but it would buy you more. It's worth more in Moldova because you could sell $1,000 watch in Moldova for the equivalent of $1,000, but that's going to buy you a hell of a lot more than $1,000 is in America. You buy like a sports car, a brand new house. You know what I mean? Like it goes further because the cost of living is cheaper. Hey, Gaelic.
Gaelic. No, not around here. I mean, you try to pawn off Grandpa's old watch, they're going to be like, yeah, you can say, I know what I've got. They're like, yeah, you think you do. Listen, this is not Tiffany's. This is not Sotheby's. So you're basically going to get what we're going to give you, and then we're going to resell it. Gaelic, you are welcome to grab the link and come up. She said 6,000 Moldova LEU is $100,117.69 in jewelry, possibly more. Grandma would have made a huge profit, supposedly just with the jewelry alone.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I think Gaelic said it better than me. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Fuck me. Now, I don't want my husband listening to this because I can already see him going, I'm going to fucking Moldova.
A lot of people do, you know, you'd be surprised. Like, people think it's probably just full of like really dirt poor people, but actually Western investors and Western expats have made it a better, more substantially financially viable country because they do exactly that. They put their money into Moldova because it buys them a hell of a lot of things, which means that there are some richer areas, not for the general Joe public, but because of the foreign investment in Moldova. Same way in most Eastern European countries, to be fair. There are nicer parts that have been built up by foreign investors and overseas traders, etc., because their money goes a lot further.
And I'm with the ladies here. I'm with all of them right here. Who turns down a Thanksgiving dinner?
Right.
Really?
Right. And in my opinion, right, the reason why they didn't go for Thanksgiving was because Diana had already planned on that day that Madalena was going to go missing, in inverted commas, while Christopher was up with his family in Michigan. That was the exact day that Madalena wasn't seen again. So to me,
Christopher said on the stand he didn't want to go without his family, meaning Diana and Madalena.
Right, right.
And she basically pushed him out the door and said, no, go have Thanksgiving with your family or whatever she told him.
Exactly, because she had other plans. He didn't know that, but she had other plans at that point.
And he's so fucking dumb, and he stays out of her business and doesn't want to mess with whatever she's got going on with Madalena and her family. He just knew that he was building on an addition to the house for her family to come over and live. And he comes back, well, where's Madalena? I don't know. I thought you had Madalena. It was all a setup.
Mm-hmm. And then she spends the next 2 weeks burning all his furniture. I mean, I can't even imagine what it must have been like living with Diana. She crazy cakes. No offense. Sorry, YouTube, but she's crazy cakes. She
is.
There is no part of my psyche that understands any of Diana at all. She's far out.
And Christopher, I mean, when he realized that he didn't hear Madalena anywhere around the house, it wouldn't have hurt him to maybe call the police, but he was probably scared in his own right.
Right. I'd be scared of her. I'd be frightened of her. She's loose cannon, man. She's crazy, waving her fire sticks all around the house and like literally like burning everything she looks at. Like I'd be wanting to go to a refuge if I was Christopher Parker. I'd be like, I need someone to actually get me away from this crazy woman. Like I need to be safe. Like, whoa, I can't.
Eating with her hands and shit. I mean, what's wrong? What's wrong with a fork, knife, and spoon?
Well, she burnt them already. She probably already burnt them. I'm not being funny.
Oh, damn. I mean, really. Seal said, where's her ex-husband? In Moldova, supposedly trying to open up an investigation. Well, he's been trying to do that for years and nothing's happening. They just don't care. They just don't care.
I don't think they can. The thing is, as well.
Go ahead, babe.
Sorry, I was just going to say the thing is as well is that if they are into a Romani culture, the men might. It's very much a kind of like traditional men earn the money, women cook and clean, etc. But women run the households. Make no mistake about it. Women run the households. And if the mother, the matriarch, her mother, Diana's mother, has said no, that there's nothing wrong here, nothing to see here, then there probably isn't much they can do about it, because it would involve invading a Romanian community or a Romani community, which is, it would be like trying to go on tribal land in the US, like trying to arrest someone on the tribal land in the US because they did something to their child. You can't do it if you're not part of that community. You don't have any sovereign say or rights over what they choose to do within their community. They're a law unto themselves in that respect. I would imagine that's why nothing's been done about it.
They don't give a rat's ass, is what I think. It's like there's a big difference between calling the police when you live in East St. Louis and when you live on the other side of the river. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think though that if it is a Romani community, which it sounds to me like it is because of what her mother and father, Diana's mother and father, are part of, then ultimately they don't have any legal say over those communities. There's very little that can be done outside of those communities to kind of bring anyone within those communities to face justice. And now she's in Moldova, there's nothing the Americans can do about it to bring her to face justice either.
Absolutely nothing. I think what they're basically working on is just to find Madalena. That's pretty much all they can do. Moldova does not care if they find her or not. They really don't.
They're not even looking for her in Moldova. It's only the people of Moldova, like the people in the Facebook groups. There's 2 Facebook groups really for Madalena, and the people within those groups are the only people realistically that are aware of Madalena, are looking for Madalena, have heard of Madalena, you know, and some of them are from Romania, Moldova, etc. They do put pressure on Diana, especially when she posts on Facebook, I'm standing by a rose right now looking at this, my Madalena would have loved this rose, or whatever bullshit she's posting on Facebook. They do take her to task. But honestly, realistically, I don't think there's anyone in any position of authority in Moldova that is actively looking for Madalena at all.
No.
Not at all.
Well, for one, Diana and her mother and her famous sister, who's a singer in Moldova, aren't looking for her because it's all a plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a plan. Yeah. Listen to grandma. Listen to grandma. But where is justice for Madalena going to come from? That is the question. Where's it going to come from? Moldova won't do anything. Romania doesn't give a fuck. Hungary, Bulgaria. Can we bring her back to the United States of America? Madalena once found? Maybe. But how's that going to work out for her?
She doesn't have any blood relatives in the United States. I mean, she may have a citizenship because she was brought over as a child, but she doesn't have any blood family relatives realistically in the United States that would be able to care for her. She's her mother is in the country of her own origin, sitting pretty for all accounts and purposes. Her father is also in that country, her biological father, trying to fight for her. The people that are in the US are Christopher Parmiter's family, and they care because obviously they loved her as part of their family, but she's not related to them by blood.
Well, look at
a really difficult situation.
Look at her Christmases and her birthdays, where Christopher and his family would make sure there's tons of presents.
Right.
And her mother would say, you could keep one. And everything else was taken back. The money was gotten and sent somewhere. You can keep one. So with all the spoiling this family did for this child, which good for them, that's what you should do. When it's a child's Christmas, a child's birthday, they should have so many presents. They're exhausted from opening them. That's just how life works. That's how it goes. But you say, no, pick your favorite and you can keep one.
Yeah.
What a bitch.
A native Russian translator provided a transcript to Queen City News.
Мои дети попали у трафикантов для детей. Моя внучка.
She said, my children were caught up by child traffickers. Now, this is in North Carolina, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
In a gated community with a lake where kids go out and feed ducks. And they have a playground and a school that is so privileged, some would think it's a private school. She said, my granddaughter is alive. She was sold along with Diana for $5 million.
Well, who took the money? Who took the $5 million when Diana was sold as a bride to the United States of America? Who did Christopher Parmiter pay the $5 million to? Her. This woman on the screen right now, Radhika, she's the one that took the $5 million from the traffickers to sell her own daughter to Christopher Parmiter. So you don't then get to come to the United States and say, well, my child was sold. You're the one that sold her. You're the one that took the money. She makes me so mad. Thank you, Sweet Toughness.
Thank you, Sweet Toughness. She said, it's totally amazing live, Brooks and Kat OG. Hey, don't be bragging on me. This is Kat's deal, okay? Kat knows what she's talking about. My children were caught up. Now listen, her mother helped orchestrate the marriage between Christopher Palmatier and Diana Kojikari.
Right.
And there were other suitors before. And some, the mom thought about like, well, this could work out, and some no.
Can you imagine? This is how it happened. This man flies to your country and says, I'd like to give you $5 million and marry your daughter. I will take your daughter to America with her daughter as well. And I will give them the absolutely best life that they could possibly have. I'll look after them. I'll pay for everything for them. She'll have a great life with me. Here's $5 million. And you're telling me that this woman, Radhika, on the screen says, no, thank you. I don't need your $5 million. You crack on. You can still get married for free. And now she's saying they were trafficked. Well, who trafficked them? Radhika did.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that received the money for the marriage. Oh, she makes me so mad. Sorry.
Basically, $5 million in their currency is a little over $100,000 in America.
Wait, $5 million is $5 million. They're not. It doesn't say 5 million Moldovan leu. It says
Oh, I know.
$5 million.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just trying to think outside the box. Maybe the $5 million is what they converted to. I don't know, but this is what she's saying.
This is a hell of a lot of money. Can you imagine? You can't.
And the Bush has said that man didn't have $5 million. No one's saying that. Grandma's a nut.
Yeah, she really is.
Мои дети попали у трафикантов для детей. Моя внучка живая, ее продали вместе с Дианой за $5 миллионов.
Rodica says she wants to take her daughter and granddaughter back to her homeland of Moldova in Eastern Europe because she feels they're in danger in the United States.
Воровать твоего ребенка.
Woo! She's really preaching. Now, Diana learned her way around America quite a bit. She understood currency very good, really good. She got it. Matter of fact, she was so friendly in jail, county jail, that she could find drugs in baggies in her own shower. Did she not, Kat?
Yeah, she did in the jail, right? I was like,
She
oh
just
no, I just
in
do
the
it. I just found
shower.
it.
The next thing you know, I mean, she's like in the shower and she gets a little baggie of fentanyl and she puts it in her tang and she goes back to her cot. So she's really that dumb? Gaelic Girl said she's speaking Russian. Let me put the link up for Gaelic Girl. Hang on. Gaelic Girl, you can come up anytime you want. Alexandra, come up. No one's saying that Christopher Palmatier had $5 million, but somehow the exchange, because she's got that number in her mind, and we're talking about the exchange.
But she took the money. The thing is, she's saying that they were trafficked. She's the one that has the money from the transaction. Therefore, she is the trafficker. If you receive money for your child, whether the child is an actual child or an adult, as in Diana was an adult with her grandchild that went to America, and if she got 5 million Moldovan dollars or whatever, or 5 million American dollars, it doesn't matter. She's the one that got the money from the transaction. She's the trafficker.
She's the trafficker. That's the comment of the day. Give me a second, you guys. That's the comment of the day. Rodica is the trafficker.
100%.
She arranged all of this.
Yep. They're in danger in the United States.
Воровать твоего ребенка, твоего ребенка.
A message to Madalena that I love her very much. Madalena and Diana, I love them very much. Plus $5 million in her mind.
Охили ваших детей. Надо их побыстрее остановить, эту банду. Это настоящая банда. Понимаете? Настоящая банда. Их надо.
My Diana is a teacher and a translator of Russian, Romanian, English languages. I thought there was only one English language. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we speak some slang around here. Hold on, Gaelic here. Hang on. Gaelic, what's up?
Hello, everyone. Good to see you.
Hey, sweetie.
How is everybody?
Good. So what do you make of this? With Grandma, I mean, like Kat said, she's the trafficker.
She's matriarch. So what she says, everyone else in the family will do.
Right.
Hence why her superstar aunt made literally no appeal or anything for Madalena. I really truly believe she's trafficked back either for an arranged marriage from birth.
Yep.
Which is Roma tradition. They can be promised at birth from 12 years of age. To say a more rich family or a more powerful family. And that's the culture. But obviously, it's when I say promise, money's involved and houses and jewelry, etc., like a dowry.
Status, yeah,
Okay,
isn't
that's
it?
what I was going to ask, because when she said, because we're going to go through this, when she said, I have a life of arrangement, it should be good enough for everyone. But she says Diana and Madalena were trafficked. Did she not get enough money? What's going on? Can someone explain it to me?
Well, obviously, if they got Madalena back to Moldova, which in one sense it's good but not good, if she is now in arranged marriage as a child, possibly to someone quite older than her. Also, at least I suppose you could say she's alive. But on that marriage, like I say, her mother's family would profit again.
Yeah, they're not the kind of people that are just going to be like, oh yeah, hey, so we took her out of America, we sent her back to Moldova so that we could marry her off, and now our families are now joined. Our family is now joined to a really rich family because my granddaughter is married to their cousin or whatever. And can you just please forgive Diana and let her come home? That would be great. She's like, I need to go to his house. I'm going to rob all of his jewelry and all of his stuff, so that not only do the American people feel sorry for me and let Diana out of jail, because that's where she was facing at the moment, but also when I go back home, I've now got all his jewelry and all his stuff as well to add to my great wealth and fortune.
But like as I said, if she only got, and I presume she got more, with the length of time Diana was in the country and gifts Christopher would have given her, and jewelry or whatever, and their currency is actually gold and silver. You can barter for, but that watch over there, she probably got 5,000 for it, you know. You come back with American goods. To them, it's like the ultimate possession to have, because it's basically a poor country.
Okay, so these little bitty rings and bracelets and watches and everything that grandma was allowed to take out, and she took back to Moldova with her. She keeps talking about $5 million and this big bag of money. Can we all put together what this is about for Grandma and Diana and poor Madalena? Madalena's
the loser in it all, sadly. And it's not, I mean, culturally speaking, there are girls in certain parts of our community that are taken out of school at 14 and married by 16.
You know, I was thinking that earlier. I was thinking it's probably a really horrific thing to actually say out loud, but I wonder if Madalena knows that she's been trafficked.
To be honest, I keep thinking of that school bus video and how she's looking into the mirror and it just looks like desperation in her eyes.
I just kind of feel like if your culture is, I know she wasn't in her culture in terms of she was in an American setting, but if her mother has always told her that that is what she's destined for, I kind of wonder whether she even knows that there's people looking for her wherever she is. Like, it's not like in 20 years she's going to come forward and be like, oh, I'm the girl that was trafficked, I'm Madalena, because she probably doesn't even know that that's what's happened to her.
She doesn't know. Diana didn't know. Her grandma didn't know. That's what they do.
Diana would have obviously kept her culturally informed. Also, what I find strange is no classmate or friend has come forward to say, well, we knew Madalena well, or we used to go whatever to the shopping mall, or, you know, whatever kids that age would do.
Well, they did. They had the friends who she used to Madalena used to go over there. No,
Yeah,
the girl used to come over to Madalena's, and then Diana was like, "Oh no, but you don't pay us to have her over here, so we
exactly.
don't want her seeing Madalena anymore." Like, what was that about?
That was the rules. It was a way of keeping Madalena isolated from
Exactly.
what they would call, I think it's called like Gorgia ways, which would be our way of living, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
The Romans refer to it as gorges. They're outside of their community and
Outside, yeah.
they don't want them influencing their children or intermarrying or, things like that. And it's actually quite common, believe it or not, in Europe.
Okay, I don't know what this means. I just put it in chat. This is something that Diana, when she was talking to someone in one of the Russian papers, it says Samka Kotoria menstruet.
Your guess is as good as mine. We probably need to put it through Google Translate.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Hold on.
Okay, do that.
Yeah, that kind of
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna look this up, and we're gonna listen to crazy ass grandma.
Okay.
Всего 15 человек. Я знаю только 5 из них. А остальные 10 я не знаю. И я считаю, что Мадалина находится у этого человека, усатого, вот такого полного человека, 63-летнего возраста. Мадалина у него там находится. Я так думаю.
We asked Cornelius police to respond to Rodica's allegations that
How the fuck can they respond? How can they respond to that? $5 million, bags of money. I mean, all kinds of stuff. All right. So I put into Google Translate. Give me a second. Hold on. Let's see. Where'd it go? It's Diana. What the fuck's going on here? Give me a second. I feel like AOL. Okay, so Samka, I don't have my glasses on. Let me get my good glasses. Oh, in English, it means a female who menstruates.
Yep. And Madalena was coming to the age of menstruation, so she was, if there was no marriage or whatever, she could possibly be pregnant or have had a baby by now. You know what I mean? It's kind of if they're old enough to menstruate, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but I've heard it said from other communities, if they're old enough to menstruate, they're old enough to marry.
Get the fuck out of here. Hold on. Chrissy menstruates. I'm going to sell her for some money. Chrissy, are you available for a few months?
Well, there's no concern to me.
Plead the fifth. She menstruates. Hold on. Susan's in menopause. I'll send her ass over there. They'll have a field day with that. Fuck going on around here? Good God. Isolate, Aaron. She said for a bride to have children. Oh, God damn these people. This is getting really ridiculous around here.
And yes, you must also remember at the moment that area is not peaceful with Russia, Ukraine thing. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack trying to find a child.
But I wouldn't mind betting that that's where she is. If I had to guess where is Madalena today, I would say she's in the foothills somewhere in Moldova, in the back of Beyond, with a wealthy-ish family or man, husband, who is now, their communities are now connected because of the marriage and has made both families even wealthier than they were to start with. And Madalena is is the conduit, if you like. She's the one that has joined the two
Yeah.
families together and made the both families money. And I know it's horrible to say, but I don't think she's ever going to be found in America. Not ever.
No, she's been gone since that whole trade off at Sugar Mountain in North Carolina. And the child that's menstruating will not see any of this money.
Oh, God, no. Her life is a life now of servitude, of looking after her husband, bearing as many children as she can.
And then, unfortunately, selling her children to the same fate when they're old enough.
Exactly. And if she has married a traditional Roma, they can be moving from place to place. They don't, you know, if he's traditional, and particularly because the FBI have an interest in this case, it wouldn't surprise me if they're not in a traveling group, which is easier, of course, again, to hide in.
Our new friend Alexander from Romania said, how about the Discord accounts that CPD discovered? I haven't heard nothing about it. They actually are linked in with the WhatsApp to what they're saying is to move Madalena. We will get to that. We're just, it's disgusting. It's
as they say.
This is a horrible comparison. So please don't get mad at me. But in the spring in Oklahoma, we have what's called the stock yards, and it's for cattle. And so what they do is they figure out, what heifer is good for breeding. And that's what irritates me. You put in some, Russian newspaper, female menstruating, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, but
Rodica says she wants to take her daughter and granddaughter back to her homeland of Moldova in Eastern Europe because she feels they're in danger in the United States.
Твоего ребенка, не дай бог, или ваших детей. Надо их побыстрее остановить, эту банду. Это настоящая банда. Понимаете? Настоящая банда. Их надо остановить. Всего 15 человек.
My Diana is a teacher and a translator of Russian, Romanian, English languages. She's an educated child, both Kojarkais, Diana, and Kojakari, Madeline. She's saying their name's different.
Yeah.
They generally do that. They put the surname before.
Я не знаю. И я считаю, что Мадалина находится у этого человека, усатого, вот такого полного человека, 63-летнего.
They are God-fearing people and they are innocent. They were caught in a trap by criminals. Listen, Christopher did not trap them. They were not trafficked in this country. Oh, hell
no.
No, but I mean, she's obviously not going to come out and say, well, we want her back because, well, like you say, she's capable of breeding and being a wife.
Is it possible that when Madalena was handed off at Sugar Mountain, she could have a new identity in an Eastern 100%. European country?
100%.
Easily.
100%.
Easily.
I don't know how they would have got her fake documents to get out of the country in the first place. Whoever trafficked her would have presumably had fake documents for Madalena. But as soon as they get to a European country, Madalena could be named anything on earth and no one would be any the wiser, honestly. The only thing people might find a little bit strange was how Madalena spoke such good English, considering with an American accent, one would assume, considering she's meant to have been, if she's just randomly appeared as someone's wife, other people in the community would have probably thought, oh, that's strange. She's an American.
Well, the thing about it is, she would probably be bilingual in order to speak.
Why would an American girl go for higher money in these countries? I don't understand it. And the grandma, it's almost like she's selling something. My daughter is educated. She's a translator. Madalena is beautiful, and she speaks, perfect English.
Yeah.
I mean, she just goes on and on and on. I'm like, that has nothing to do with the situation. How people speak and enunciate has nothing to do with anything. And the only thing Madalena was pressed to do when she was here was learn as much as she could. And she became very, I'm going to go ahead and say, Americanized. She was huge into Barbie dolls. And I mean, Christopher taught her how to ride a bicycle. I mean, taught her,
And a
all kinds of stuff. A horse? Yeah, horse riding was a big thing.
Also, it means she's better educated than most girls in her own country.
Absolutely. I mean, I was saying, when you actually look into the Romani tradition, most girls are forced to leave school. Not the boys, but the girls are forced to leave school age 11 or 12, usually to keep house and to be do whatever roles and stuff, marriage and all of that kind of stuff. And Madalena was 11 when she got off that school bus and disappeared. To me, I said at the beginning, I think that's significant. It's a significant age for a child of that community to be disappeared, if you like.
Oh, it's very, very significant for the Romani lifestyle. And to be honest, it happens here, even though the girl could be taken out of school at 12. By 16, they can be legally married, and not the government, not anybody can stop it, because that is their culture.
And don't forget as well that if Madalena was brought back to Moldova, they possibly brought her back to a community that isn't going to ask too many questions. They're not going to be really like, oh, how come your wife, who is only a child, is American? They're probably just going to be like, look at this wealthy American Roma child who has come back to live in her community and be married to the wealthiest cousin, who is also sharing now wealth with our family, and they probably covered her head and all kinds of things, and no one really bats an eyelid.
No doubt dyed her hair. She would be forced to speak, obviously, in their language, but also be very quick to pick up on English should anybody come asking questions. I assume her hair's dyed, probably totally different looking to when she's left America.
Rianne said, doesn't it also depend on if the bride can bear children? Which is shocking to me that in this Russian newspaper that Olga put into our group and Kat translated, one of the big selling points in this Russian newspaper is that whoever Diana is talking about is menstruating. The grandmother is listing the unique selling points. It's beyond gross is what it is. Now let's get back to Diana, because she is part of it. Don't be taking any don't let Diana, because of her mother, and if I was her father, the one that bought her mother, I'd want a refund. I would find my receipt, I would find my tag, and I'd take her ass right back.
If she's the matriarch of that family, nobody will question her.
Exactly.
Of the entire family.
Continues. This is a story that rocked this community when the little girl disappeared back in 2022. She was only 11 years old then. So Sunday marked 2 years to the day that Madalena's mother, Diana Kojikari, reported her missing to the school weeks after she was last seen getting off her school bus. Well, 2 days later, on December 17th, both her mother and stepfather were arrested and charged with failing to report her missing. Her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, remains on probation. Her mother went back to her home country of Moldova after being released from jail earlier this year. Well, WBTV's Claire Kopsky has been staying on top of all the updates in this case, and she's joining us now in the studio.
So obviously we know that this is a case that got local and international attention.
Absolutely. And the Cornelius police chief assured me last month in an interview that Madalena's case will never be a cold case as long as she is still missing. Now, many who knew her, though, are still worried about her well-being. I sat down in an exclusive interview with a woman whose granddaughter used to be Madalena's best friend.
This is beyond crazy. Hold on. Real Rockin' Robin said, reported to the school she was missing. What the hell? Yeah, the school resource officers, we have a whole playlist. They kept calling Diana and saying, Madalena has missed too many days, too many days, too many days. She showed up without her and said, I don't know where she's at. I don't know. And so the school called the police. And next thing you know, they put them both in jail. And they found out later that Christopher actually knew nothing about it, that this was like some sort of crazy plan to traffic within the family, to be quite honest. Hence why the FBI has their T3 trafficking department involved.
But she says that friendship had to change after an unexpected conversation with Madalena's mother, Diana.
We are bringing you the newest details on the search for Madalena.
Yeah, she really got trafficked out of that neighborhood. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
Get the fuck out.
Days ticking by and still no sign of the 11-year-old from Cornelius.
I don't want her to get forgotten.
Leanne Steffen remembers where she was when she got the call.
Just that shock of, this can't be happening. This can't be real. And just screaming in my car.
Her granddaughter's best friend, Madalena Kojakari, was missing.
And I just thought, no, you're not talking about her.
Madalena and her granddaughter met at school.
Here's going this way.
Wow.
And became fast friends.
My granddaughter still wanted to play.
Look at that. Madalena going around trick-or-treating. She's got her little princess outfit on and everything. Goodness.
I can't imagine having to go from a life like this to a life back in a traditional, religious, cultural community that you've had no part of for your whole life, completely against your will. It's horrible.
Knowing that you're having fun with your friends and you're getting candy and all of that stuff, just knowing that you're going to wind up in your mom's life.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the pictures that Diana would take of Madalena almost look like a resume.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that. There were some very strange poses that weren't natural kind of poses.
Or whatever. I don't know if it sounds horrible, but to show her development and how beautiful looking she was and things like that. It's almost like a report to somebody, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Look how beautiful my daughter is, this type of thing. And obviously they totally fooled Christopher because he was building on for her family to come.
Mm-hmm.
When Diana was planning to get out of town and Madalena.
Can you imagine her family coming over to the United States? Like that mother thing, whatever that is with the hat that we were just listening to earlier, the trafficker lady, and her sister, who is like a famous Moldovan singer in Moldova.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine them coming out to America to be like, yeah, we'll live in your spare room. Look at the house they've got in Moldova. Like, I know their house in America is nice and everything, but having a little side room on that compared to having this massive, great big palatial house that they've got in Moldova, I can't imagine it. Like that was ever part of the plan.
They're like, okay, hold on. You're building a room on for, me and the Celine Dion of Moldova to hang out there. But if Diana learns how to do this right, we'll have her own shit. Chris said the mother has been in jail all of 5 minutes. No, she served some time. She pled guilty. She's out. She got her papers, her passport, and she went back to Moldova. Trick-or-treating is not dangerous if you have an adult with you, okay? We have a huge thing here for Halloween. Let me tell you what. We have the bouncy castles. My husband, I mean, he's out in the front yard in the driveway grilling hamburgers and hot dogs. We have chips and Gatorade. It's fun for the kids. So, you know, when people pervert something that is super nice, it really pisses me off. Okay.
Well, and also it kind of makes me think that it was only a month before Halloween was only about a month before Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not even that long, like 20 odd days. So it would have been her last Halloween celebrating like this.
October 31st, and then you've got end of November.
Uh-huh. So that would have been the last time that she went out trick-or-treating like this, guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
The only time it's not nice is when sex offenders, you know, like Lone Wolf Spirit and a few others try to give out candy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the police come by and lock them up.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them. This bitch. I don't know who I'm more mad at, the grandma or Diana.
Oh, it would be a family effort. Like the grandma would have been the one that pulling the strings and making the decisions, but Diana willingly participated in it. She weren't no victim. She weren't no forced into this whole thing. She was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she'd never left America.
Now, mind you, we want our children to look nice, but she had this thing about her hair.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to have it combed a certain way. And I could not believe when it was transcribed for me, when she said to Madeline as a young girl, and she's still young, she's 14 now, because I believe she is alive.
Yeah.
She said, no, this way, or no man will want you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say that to a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old. I don't care if they're 23 years old and they have a lilt perm like I used to have.
And we are.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
With, you know, cats and toys, it was just an answer to my prayers that she would have a best friend.
After meeting Madalena's mother, Diana, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, the girls started having play dates.
I would go over there and go in the house. The living room was filled with toys, doll houses, horses, everything a girl could want, you know. Like never once did I suspect anything.
They played together after school about once a week when they were 8, 9, and 10 years old.
When they would see each other, my granddaughter would be like, Maddie! They would just hug each other, and it was just precious what they had.
Leanne says several times they tried to have Madalena over to their house to play, but except for once, Diana always said no.
And she's like, we don't trust. I said, okay, I'd rather you were that kind of parent where you were overly cautious. And Chris seemed like an amazing stepdad. He really did.
Okay, so Diana's trying to act to Madalena's best friend's mom. She's trying to act like she doesn't know the lingo. She goes, we don't trust.
We don't trust. Yeah, right. Speak perfect English when you're trying to explain that you found drugs in the shower and that you require a lawyer, etc. Speak perfect English then, but we don't trust.
Yeah, well, she was basically saying, like I said, they don't trust anybody outside of their own type of community. They'll go along with so much, but they won't allow it to develop into a deep relationship or sleepovers or anything like that.
Yeah, Rhiannon said it, only if money's exchanged. That might be where the trust comes in. You pay us and we might trust you.
No, she'll trust somebody if there's greenbacks involved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it'd be like...
And Diana seemed like a loving, very protective mom.
But nearly 3 years into the girls' friendship, Leanne says Diana sent a text while the girls were playing together.
He said something along the lines of, I feel like you're taking advantage of me because you don't pay me.
Leanne says she assumed there had been a misunderstanding over text, so when she went to pick up her granddaughter, she spoke to Diana.
And I said, Diana, I go, we don't need you as a babysitter. I thought the girls were just playing. And she goes, no, you take advantage of me because I'm from another country. I said, no, not at all. I said, Maddie can always come to our house anytime. We'll be the ones who have to pick up their messes. No. And that's when she's like, I said, why? She's all, we don't trust. And that ripped my heart out.
In the months that followed, Leanne says there were more.
Fuck me. Okay, so the girls are playing together, and it's fine if Madalena goes and hangs out with, her friend. Madalena goes with Diana and Chris, which Chris is none the wiser. And she goes, oh, you take advantage. You don't pay me because I'm from another country. Who the hell would know unless you tell someone? Holy shit, this is America. We're the melting pot. Okay? You don't even know. You can go to Quick Trip right now. You'll hear different accents all the time. Get the fuck out.
It's using it as a weapon, basically, isn't it? It's like when it suits you, you're from another country, right? When it suits you to manipulate people or to, put some kind of guard around your daughter so that you're able to do what you want with your daughter, i.e. sell her to arranged marriage, then you're from another country, right? Then your culture matters. Then your homeland matters. Come on, do me a favor. Give me a break.
No one gives a rat's ass about their homeland.
Exactly.
Their homeland is where they're at right now. That's where they got their feet in the ground. That's their house. You don't ask people for money because kids are playing together.
Right.
Imagine that woman was scared to death. It's a wonder she didn't call INS right there and say she's from another country and she's wanting money for kids to play together.
Exactly.
Conversations with her granddaughter, but she no longer felt she could let her play at Madalena's house.
I'm sorry. The reason why it's so emotional is because these two girls had each other. It was them against everybody else,
What haunts Leanne to this day is the what if her granddaughter had been playing here at Madalena's house the day Madalena went missing.
Sometimes I wonder, would both girls be gone? God, I hope not.
If it's any consolation to that poor mother, and I'm sure it does actually feel really scary to her, Diana wouldn't have trafficked her daughter as well.
No, she wouldn't have thought about it. No.
She had her plan in place, and she obviously wanted to drive a wedge between the two children as well.
She wanted the money. That's why there's all the Western unions. That's why there's everything going on. And now we see what the search warrant said. This case pisses me off to no end.
Yeah.
This young girl went missing in Mecklenburg County, and to this day, the question remains, where is Madalena? Thanks for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Siobhan Bryant.
And I'm John Carter. For more than 2 years, we've been telling you about Madalena Kojikari. She was 11 years old when she was last seen publicly getting off her school bus in Cornelius. Well, today is Madalena's 14th birthday, and with it comes new developments.
What about her hands that are always up? And her mother would ask her to pose like that. And then so many with sunglasses when you don't use sunglasses on those days.
Right. I was talking about this right back at the start. I think me and Susan were talking about it in Discord. It's just such a almost like summer dancing by the for sale barrel kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's a way to present your child in terms of, I guess, what sicko men might be looking for, if you like, an advertisement for your child. Yeah, exactly, showing off her figure in inverted commas. I can't even say those words. It just makes me feel sick, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, basically her development and, the usual sickos want to see.
Cornelius Police today releasing its first ever age progression photo of what Madalena could look like today, a picture which police are hoping can help solve the case.
Last year, her mother and stepfather were both convicted for failing to report her missing, and still, no one's come forward with where Madalena is.
Now, we've done our own digging into more than 30 search warrants related to the case, and joining us now in studio with more on this captivating case is our very own Michael Warwick. Michael?
Well, we've come through every single one of those search warrants. We're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of court documents. It shows investigators looked at the Kojikari home, cell phones, social media accounts, and more. And while there are signs that police have their suspicions, there's still no sign of Madalena.
2.5 years after 11-year-old Madalena Kojikari was last seen getting off a school bus, police hope this age progression photo will spark new interest in the case.
Our primary message is that she's not forgotten. We continue to investigate this case just as hard as we did from day one.
Investigators revealed last year they consider Madalena's mother, Diana Kojikari, a suspect. Diana and Madalena's stepfather both served jail time for waiting 2 weeks to tell police Madalena was missing.
So many unusual things have happened in this case since day one when it was reported. If you'll remember, this was not reported by her parents. This was reported by the school resource officer that was on duty that day.
Over the course of a year after Madalena's disappearance, police executed more than 30 search warrants. We've been through each of them. Take a look at this one, showing that around the time of Madalena's disappearance, her stepfather told police that they burned multiple items on their property, including Madalena's mattress, her clothing, Halloween costume, and family photos. Here's another one showing that, again, around the time of Madalena's disappearance, phone records showed police that Diana paid a priest in Moldova $4,000.
Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, she paid a priest in Moldova $4,000. All right, that's basically, when you do the currency, it's almost $10,000 in Moldova. Now, she kept telling Chris that, they were burning things due to her religion to bring Madalena back. Okay, he's really fucking stupid, and he's the one that lost all this money. Okay, he didn't even know anyone was taking money from him. So don't tell me he should have known. He is that dumb. He had no idea all of his money was being taken.
Right.
I know this sounds terrible to say, but if she was being brought through an airport, whatever, with new documents, with a priest, particularly into that country, he's not going to be stopped and asked, why is that child with you?
Right. Was that wedding money or like marriage money?
Could be
secret
as simple,
money.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could be as simple as it's one surefire way of all he'd have to say is, oh, I'm taking her back on behalf of her parents. He was her flight companion, and
right.
Because of his status, there's nobody really going to raise an eyebrow at that.
Right.
Was it for a wedding?
Possibly.
Or to move her to the priest in Balti, Moldova?
Also, it could be
that they
that
use the WhatsApp application to send that money.
also it could have been to provide things like, say if she was baptized in the church, to get that record.
In my opinion, whatever it was for, it definitely has got something to do with Madalena. There's no way she randomly, during all of this time, just picked up the phone and paid $2,000 to a priest in Moldova. There's a reason that she did it.
Yes.
And it was related to Madalena.
December 5th, she sent $2,000. December 12th, she sent $2,000 to this priest.
Yeah.
And on December 7th. So that's $6,000 in a short period of time.
And all around the same time that Madalena was missing, but nobody actually knew she was missing by this point.
Exactly.
hopes.
She could
Immigration
have been
officials told
keeping
us
her hidden.
Diana moved to Moldova shortly after she got out of jail last year. That's when she told reporters she hopes Madalena is safe.
Is Madalena safe right now?
Do you know where she is?
I hope so.
WBTV security analyst.
Why is she smiling when she says, I hope so? Watch her.
Oh, she's got a face that. Sorry, I'm saying.
Please watch that bitch and look at her fucking nose. Who has a nose like that? Look at
She's
this.
just got a face I want to slap.
Why is she smiling, going, I hope so? Why is she speaking perfect American English right now, but she didn't know it before? And all the people at her Mary Kay parties, they were like, we didn't even know she wasn't from here.
Do you know where she is?
I hope so.
Damn it, I missed it. Hold on.
I hope so.
Look at her grinning. I hope so.
The other theory I have about the priest is that maybe he kept Madalena hidden until such time as Diana got back, and they got to.
I mean, she would have owed him a lot more than $6,000 then, because she was in jail for months and months and months.
Mm-hmm. So could the church have been holding her?
Possibly. But, I mean, it doesn't really make sense why they would, especially if they hadn't been paid the full amount. I don't think this is church like you and I know church. I've got a feeling.
This isn't. I would just say normal church, if that makes any kind of sense. This
Kind of
is-
church where they like to burn furniture and
Yeah.
all of that. I was just going to say, that smile on her face, to me, that's Jupiter's delight.
Exactly.
It's just like we got away with this kind of whole.
Yep, we've got Madalena married. We've got a big, nice old house in Moldova. We've got all the money. We've got all the jewelry. We've got everything we want from you. Thanks, America. Bye.
Damn
Like
sick.
what mother would
WBTV
do?
security analyst Carl De La Guerra.
One of the interesting things about her moving to Moldova, Moldova does not have an extradition treaty with the United States. So if she doesn't leave that country, there's nothing we can do to put our hands on her if she is found guilty.
100%.
On Madalena's 14th birthday, Cornelius police pledge they investigate the case every day. To this point, they tell us they've yet to have a credible sighting of Madalena since that afternoon in November 2020.
Fact is, U.S. Marshals can do nothing about this. Nothing. FBI.
Not on American soil.
No. I mean, U.S. No, she's not here. FBI can. CIA can. It would have to be some kind of black ops operation to this ring of these children put together. Maria O'Sullivan said, Chris isn't any better. He bought a woman and a baby from Moldova. That is true. And I think he learned his lesson. So I think everyone needs to understand he's paid his price, but he didn't know what was going on behind him. So, hey, dudes, if you meet somebody from another country, you better make sure you keep your pocketbook safe and make sure they don't come from a place where they traffic children, marry them off at 11, speak 6 languages, I mean, really. And there's an extradition. Now let's look at this. I understand a lot of people are dropping out right now. They're getting this is getting a little too overwhelming. It's okay. Madalena is worth it.
More details surrounding the disappearance of 12-year-old Madalena Kojikari. The Mecklenburg County court system releasing newly unsealed documents that could provide more clues into what happened to Madalena. It's been nearly 8 months since the Cornelius girl was last seen publicly getting off of a school bus. Both Madalena's mother, Diana Kojikari, this was actually the last video of her seen publicly, but her mother, Diana Kojikari, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, they have been arrested and they've been in jail since December for failing to report her disappearance. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre live in Uptown. So Jesse, after combing through dozens of search warrants, what can you tell us? Did this reveal anything that will help us, I'm hoping, get closer to finding Madalena?
Well, it definitely revealed several new details. You know, we're talking about 200 pages of documents, and there are several things that stick out. We're talking about recorded phone conversations in jail, finance records looked into, as well as evidence seized from the home, and details on when Madalena was last with her mother. There were also conversations surrounding the idea that Madalena was given away for money.
Always has been. Now, I'm going to ask a question from the chat. Maria O'Sullivan said she was sold to someone in the USA. Impossible.
I don't think so.
No,
Because
the person may have been physically present in the USA when they took Madalena, but I don't think that's who she was sold to ultimately. I think that's possibly a custodian travel. Like, for example, if it was the priest who was in the USA, he's not in the USA anymore. I don't think it was a USA citizen that she was sold to. That's just my personal opinion.
Oh, no, it can't be. I mean, if you look at all the documents and everything transpired overseas, everything.
The FBI marshal.
By the way, for a child, this is crazy. For a child to leave the United States, let's just say on vacation. Let's say if I want to go to Greece and visit Kat's Villa, I could actually take my granddaughter Eleanor without a passport. I don't need one. I can just say, this is my granddaughter, and we are going to be back. Here's my open-ended ticket. That's it. Because you're talking about leaving America. But
yeah, they're not going to stop you from getting out. They might try and stop you from coming in without a passport, but they're not going to stop you if you want to leave.
No.
And I mean, the way they have been trying to crack down in these different countries, you know, they know what's going on. And it's like a generational thing between Diana and her mother, probably her grandmother, probably her sister. I mean, all of them, you know. I mean, they keep asking. I mean, it was like from the beginning. Did she sell her? Did she sell her? Well, the reason they think that is because she did.
And because people like her own mother come over and start talking about being trafficked for $5 million. I mean, that kind of thing kind of puts the idea in your mind that she was sold, right?
Yeah. The minute I saw FBI T3 trafficking, that is totally different. We're not talking about some goddamn hillbilly in the Appalachians that says, I'd like to have me a bride. We're not talking about that.
All you can do is, sift through every piece of evidence, and hopefully it leads you to something that leads you to something else, and so you can conclude what happened to the child.
Where is Madalena Kojakari? That is the question. The Cornelius girl was last seen leaving the school bus on November 21st, but it took weeks before her parents reported her missing. Here's what we can add to the timeline after several search warrants were unsealed. In a text message on December 2nd, Madalena's mother, Diana Kojakari, indicated that she was with her daughter. The next day, December 3rd, Diana was seen at a service station in Hickory, getting an oil change. The attendant told police there were children's toys in the car, but did not see a child around. On December 4th, Diana traveled towards North Carolina mountains, claiming to be searching for Madalena. And on December 16, Sugar Mountain Police Department provided surveillance photos of a man and a young girl. The man's images were physically consistent with the appearance of a family member of Diana, the only blood relative known to live in the U.S., and the young girl appeared to be Madalena.
I think that's the biggest thing, and I would certainly be interviewing that person, looking for other camera video of who he was with that day.
The search warrants also revealed more details from recorded phone calls in jail. Diana discussed a bag of money with her mother, cash withdrawals, and she also told her mother she believed her husband, Madalena's stepfather, Christopher Palmer, gave.
Maria has a question. Why isn't Chris in trouble for buying a woman and a baby? Because it was sensual.
Exactly. Mail order bride services are not illegal, however much you think they should be or could be. They're not illegal. It's not illegal to
It's like somebody
brides.
wants to move me to Texas, and I'm like, yes, I love this man. I love this man. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to pay your moving costs and things like this. It is legal. It is. I mean, prayer goes here. She said, hello, everyone. Too many humans who live in the United States keep their custom from other countries now, and it's not good. And that is true. Because Theodore Roosevelt said, leave it at the fence, basically. You're going to learn.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do, or extrapolate that to where you live in life. You have to fit in and blend with the local culture, not your own culture. You can keep it, but make sure you abide by the cultural and legal norms of the country that you're living in, for real.
And I'm going to go ahead and victim shame for a minute. What woman would allow herself to be bought?
A one that wanted to make a lot of money for her mother. In
There
other
you
words, the $5 million in inverted commas that her mother received, presumably for the sale of her daughter.
And obviously had another plan in their head. This was like Madalena was young. They had
Chris pegged. They had him pegged. They knew he was dumb. They just knew he wanted to get married. They knew he wanted a family. She bragged about how, he didn't want sex any way or another. He asked her just, be ready when, you want to. He honestly just was backward as hell. And basically, a total sucker, man.
He was a sucker, but then I just kind of think about it from his point of view. He's under so much pressure from his own family. He needs to get married. He needs all of the business. He worked every day and provided every day for Madalena and Diana. Diana took blatant advantage of him, out and out, especially of his vulnerability in that respect. Because if he really was kind of backward and isolated and all of that kind of stuff, that's a real nasty way to take advantage of somebody. And then to blatantly exploit your daughter like that as well. I mean, she's a sick puppy, Diana, in my opinion. She's a sick puppy.
Well, she really is. And I'm going to make it very clear. I am not taking up for prostitution, anything like that. Mail order brides. What I'm saying is the law looks at it as you've got two people that have decided they want to be together. So you can call it whatever you want.
It's kind of like that, what you call it, something 90-day fiance thing. They can bring them over on a 90-day visa, and then they have to decide to get married, that sort of thing.
I think arranged marriages are more illegal, to be honest. But even then, it doesn't seem to stop it from happening just because it's illegal. It shouldn't happen. It's disgusting. But in these communities, it's seen as so normal. It's like no one bats an eyelid. Like that's what I was saying earlier about if Madalena suddenly turns up in Moldova with an American accent, the people around her aren't going to be like, oh my goodness, who is this American girl? They're going to be like, oh yeah, she's the one that was brought to be the wife of her second cousin or whatever. It's normal. It's horrible. It's disgusting.
It is.
It happens.
And that's
when you go to someone's house and if they say, well, take your shoes off. And you're like, no, my custom is I leave my shoes on. Well, fuck it is. You're in my house. Take them off.
Exactly. I mean, if you go to someone's country, like Kat does to Greece every Friday, you have to abide by their laws.
Go to Greece every Friday.
Well, apparently, that's what I've been hearing.
I just want to make it clear, I am not condoning mail order brides or anything like this. I think, honestly, Christopher thought that he was really, they really had a connection.
Yeah, he went to the extent, and I'm not saying it's right, because I don't really agree with people selling themselves for money either, but he went to the effort of learning her language and visiting her several times in Moldova. This wasn't just a case of he went online, clicked a button, and the next day she arrived with her child. Like he went and met her family and all of the usual normal things that you probably would do if you were dating someone in that respect. But he then went to the extent of paying money for her to come over and live with him and be married to him in America.
And
wasn't like
they
he did nothing.
obviously
Her right
knew.
now, you can look right here on the screen what Diana Kojakari said to her mother. She tells her mother about a bag of money, which she did have stowed away, that is for sure, withdrawing cash. And then she said, Chris gave the girl away for money. No, she knew better than that. She knew better. She knew exactly what she did, and she had everything put in a certain place. One of the recorded phone calls, when you get here, this is where all these things are. And now they're living, the high life in Moldova. It's sick.
Gave Madalina away for money. In recorded conversations between Palmer, his brother, and his sister-in-law, he mentioned that Diana had a lot of cash with her, and he did not know where it came from. He also shared some concerns about financial stuff coming up. Law enforcement expert Dr. Roy Taylor says all inmates do know their communications are monitored.
I don't know if it's a effort on both their parts to deny their involvement, and they are both involved, or one's telling the truth and one isn't. And again, it's just going to be a matter of time and looking at the financial records.
Yep, follow the
Now,
money.
banking and credit card documents were also seized. Police looking into any patterns or activity that may link back to Madalina's disappearance.
Follow the money.
No, my friends, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. And let me tell you what, one of the most recent articles I read is Homeland Security cannot investigate this. You know why? Because all the money is overseas now. So the FBI has to do it in coordination with other countries who won't cooperate. So what do we do now?
Well,
That's
good
what I was
luck
thinking
with
about the
that.
FBI, because I know that they investigate that kind of thing, don't they, with fraud and overseas cryptocurrencies and all of that kind of stuff. Like the FBI are really into investigating that. But then, like you said, it just, how much power do they really have if the country that they're investigating isn't cooperating with them, which Moldova honestly doesn't have to do because they have no treaties with America to do so, which is even worse, makes it even worse, because she knew she could hide over there.
Plus, it's considered a principality state, so nobody can actually force them, not even Interpol.
It's just sick. I mean, Susan said, are Chris and Diana divorced now? Yes, they are. They are. And actually, her public defender, which she understood that, even though she's supposedly so dumb to American ways, he helped her with her divorce. And she got, like, goodness, almost all of Christopher Palmatire's 401k retirement.
Just in case you needed to be made a little bit more mad today.
Yeah.
She psychs me out, honestly. I can't. Yeah.
So, money.
Jeremiah's from Moldova. Do you want to talk to us, Jeremiah? And explain what you think's going on?
I can make them cooperate, really? Really, Jeremiah? You've got some kind of pact between the USA and Moldova that you can fix it up, right? Come on.
Prayer Garden said, problem with a lot of countries is men rule, women and children are seen as property that need to listen and obey. The children come here, see the freedom, and they want it. And Madalina loved it. She thrived. She loved it. She absolutely loved it. Loved it. But her mother saw nothing but dollar bills, y'all. What is it? Royal Dragon.
Oh, okay. Is this Mr. Serbian Empire come back?
Hold on. What's a General Royal Dragon?
I have no idea, but he's not in Moldova and apparently can't broker any kind of like treaty between Moldova and the US, from what it seems anyway.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a game of phone.
Jeremiah, I just went to your YouTube channel. He's a British Army regiment, part of the Royal Armored Corps, part of Serbia. That's amazing. Come up. The Dragoon.
Yeah, come up and tell us how America is 200-year baby. Please. We've missed you.
Oh, I wondered where you were. Are you still testing out those German flashlights?
Huge fan of Game of Thrones, I'd say.
What the hell is going on? Okay, I'm looking right now at your YouTube. Wow. Okay.
Just gained a new subscriber because you know how I love to follow the random people in chat.
I am absolutely loving this. I just want to say thank you to everybody for, I know this is a very, very hard case to follow because we don't understand what the hell part of the world it's coming from. I'm assuming when I came across it, not that Jeremiah doesn't matter. God damn it. Do you mind? And
Jeremiah needs to
I
contact
said,
the
the girl that goes missing from North Carolina. Thank you. It's Dragoon, not Dragon. Okay.
Oh,
Again,
okay. Apologies to the Serbian Empire.
And I'm like, little girl goes missing from North Carolina, and next thing you know, we have basically a worldwide conspiracy. Jeremiah, if you want to come up, let me know, and we'll give you a little bit of time. If not, Brooks has got to eat lunch. But again, thank you everybody for being here to talk about this insane case. It does make me scratch my head why more people don't talk about Madalena. Because, I mean, if you want to talk about an endangered child, she is.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases that seems to draw a lot of attention right back at the start, and people have just kind of moved away from it. But she's still missing. She's still not found.
In the beginning, everybody thought, because of the burning half the house and pictures and what have you, that she had actually done away with Madalena and was trying to cover up with the burning.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I think that was a kind of big thing at the start because I think people were expecting them to find remains in the fire pit or something like that. But
that's seemingly part of her cleansing ritual for that, whatever religion she is involved with.
Maria has a question. She said, if she was sold to someone in Moldova, we don't know where she was sold. We know it's not in the U.S. because everything has been moved to T3 trafficking. She said, why wouldn't she just take her there herself? Because even if it's Moldova, you just can't show up like the Avon lady and say, I've got a sample of lipstick and here's some perfume that you can try. And if you like it, come back and see me. She said that's where she ended up going anyway. True. I think when you're talking about T3 trafficking, they have to be a little more calculated than that.
Plus, you can't really explain, how do you explain to authorities, oh, well, I did this, I did that, I did the other, it's the way she did it was so calculated and planned a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
she did. I think there was a plan the minute that she came over here, and it's basically her computing. It's what she knows and what her mom has instilled in her, what her father instilled in her, what her sister. I mean, her sister was a mail order bride, and she got done doing what she needed to do. She went back to Moldova.
Plus, had the school not reported it, no one might still be any the wiser.
And I imagine the people in that community are about to lose their shit because, they didn't have any idea of what was going on right under their noses.
No. Right. Well, I mean, Christopher lived in the house and he had no clue what was going on, so
right.
You can't blame the community either. And then, the mum did her best to keep Madalena isolated by, that lady's granddaughter. Oh, you're just taking advantage of me. She can't come over here anymore.
Well, the question is, And we're not, I mean, we're judge and jury, you know, just on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe Madalena is alive?
Yeah.
I do. I firmly believe she's alive.
I do.
Jeremiah, what are you talking about? Their family stole the throne from my family in Serbia when we came to North America to end the French-English War. You Serbians didn't fuck for us. Calm down. You know, I mean, you were messaging me one day about the Ottoman Empire or something. You know, call me on a different day when I'm in a better mood. Anyway, you guys are absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Brooks. Thanks for keeping the case going as well. Like, it's really good to actually have some chance to talk about it. It's been ongoing for a couple of years now, hasn't it?
Are you kidding me? We started this in 2022. We've been together a long time.
Wow.
Well, you guys, today is a good day to share Madalena's poster, even though we don't live anywhere near her. But I mean, it actually keeps her name out there. Please, and I'm going to put it on the channel, please, on your socials, whatever you do, please put it out there. Okay? Because I think she is an absolutely amazing, talented child. I mean, I didn't care what she was taught. I mean, she could instantly learn cello, piano. She knows 6 languages, horseback riding. I mean, she's not the girl that just got kicked off the horse and said, I'm never doing it again. She's not that girl. So this beautiful, beautiful little girl was a victim of her mother and grandmother, it seems.
Say she truly believed herself she was in for a life of college, you know, furthering herself in life until Mama and Grandma got their deals together. And then her whole life was turned upside down. Her future was stolen. No, I do believe she's alive, but which is good. But I pray it's not in the circumstances that I think it is.
Well, I mean, if you guys have a second, I can show you something. Jeremiah, I don't want to hear about Prince Andrew or Victoria.
What the?
You're really pissing me off with that shit.
This is the Moldova to Romania Express. It's the fastest way to Europe for many Moldovans escaping their abject poverty and unemployment. Hours later, as the Midnight Express pulls in, Romanian border guards climb on board. They're joined by Europe's Rapid Border Intervention Team, known as RABBIT, specialists in border security and part of the EU border agency, Frontex. Units are looking for counterfeit documents, illegal immigrants and people smugglers. A big problem in this area, as Moldova is a major source of women and girls trafficked for sex. Carrying their own weapons, they say they're ready to use them.
This is my weapon. It's a Hungarian one. The type of it PA-63, and I'm allowed to use it.
One of the original ideals behind the EU was a Europe without borders, and that ideal was quickly shattered by the fact of organized crime, drug and human trafficking. The UN estimates there are at least 200 million migrants illegally in the world. They're there because they leave home because of war, border freedoms and economic disparities, and that's UN speak for us.
Yep.
Well, there's 200,000 less in America. Fuck me.
Not so good here, but anyway.
On the same exercise a few miles away, different Frontex units and Romanian border guards are aiming their cameras at the no man's land between the countries.
Where the light is the border between Romania and our country.
Inside their truck, the thermo-imaging cameras have spotted the 3 guards disguised as illegal migrants. Their progress is watched as patrols are dispatched to intercept and arrest them. In the days of the Soviet Union, border guards like these were stopping people getting out. Today, as members of Fortress Europe, their job
to stop people getting in. But it's no wonder that people try. Moldova is Europe's poorest country. Almost a quarter of the working population have abandoned their homes to find work, often illegally, abroad, making humans the country's chief export. Their remittances keep the country afloat.
For this year, the remittances inflows for these people increased a lot. And they're sending home around $1 billion officially and maybe 50%. Unofficially, I'm talking about money in pockets.
Every day, women are trafficked across borders.
Yeah. Okay, so when people say, oh, it happened here in America, hell, it could have. I don't know. But considering, I'm looking at the facts here, my friends. Since the FBI said this has changed to T3 trafficking, that means it's way in another country. Way away. The fact that Diana took her straight ass right back over to Moldova, that tells me a lot. Listen, she had the high life here. She had the high life. She had the nice house in North Carolina, but it wasn't what her family wanted.
Right.
Okay?
She didn't have the status in the USA that she would have had in Moldova with the same amount of.
Sarah, where are there trains here in America that are trafficking children? I mean, we're trying to stop that. We really are. So, I mean, where are there trains taking children away? I need honestly, I need some facts here, not just things thrown into a chat. This is really hard. We're talking about a little girl.
And many little girls have.
Like this one, every car and lorry is stopped and searched. Even heartbeat monitors are deployed to detect people being smuggled. Rabbit is there to provide rapid assistance to member states which are faced with a sudden increase in illegal migration. Frontex have been keeping a watchful eye on this porous border since Romania joined the EU last year.
There is some pressure of illegal immigration in this part of the border, mainly coming from, of course, coming from Moldova and also from Moldavian citizens.
Borders are often defined by natural frontiers like mountain ranges or rivers. The fast-flowing and dangerous river Prut needs to be patrolled too, in case it's used as a crossing point. The river patrol saves as many lives as it catches.
If river patrols like these fail to detect the human traffickers, then people will continue to be smuggled across the border into lives of bonded labour and sexual slavery. Stephen Cole, Al Jazeera, on the border between Moldova and Romania.
Okay, that's fucked up. That is fucked up. And I just want everyone to be mindful when we are having a conversation. It is very heated, and we are talking about one child, and her name is Madalina Kojikari. There is no reason to disrespect her and what she's going through right now and play the what about game and say, oh, it happens here, it happens here, it happens here. I don't have all day to talk about the whole goddamn world. I'm talking about what's going on with Madalina. So please, when you come into my chat, please check the title. Please check what child we're talking about and not play the what about game with me. Because I'm very upset right now about what is happening to Madalina, that her mother and her grandmother put her through. I actually feel bad for Dum Chris that was used as a patsy. If somebody wants to come in and play know-it-all with me, grab the goddamn link. Tell me all you know, but it better be about the subject at hand. Ilyanka said, everyone ask yourself what it was you. What if it was you? What if you were Madalina? Would you come in and say, oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. That is such bullshit.
That's like Candace talking to Chris McDonough then.
I'll tell you,
all the time, all around the world.
actually, I mean, I can take Serbian Empire. Okay, that gives me some comic relief. But people that I expect to be respectful to the subject we're speaking about, who happens to be a beautiful little girl, I think that's pretty fucked up. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here. Kat, give me a call when we get off here. Gaelic, of course, I'll patch you in. Man,
Okay.
I've got
Will
that.
do. I need to eat first though, so I'm gonna eat
Yeah,
some
me too.
food. And then
I've got that Candace Wells shit down so good. All right, everyone, I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about Lily and Jack in Canada. Okay?
Awesome. See you
More
tomorrow.
heartbreak.
Take care,
And I have
everyone.
a real life Canadian coming on. All right, I love you guys. Have a great day.
Everyone.